As people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs, we would like to speak in of hope, sign our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
At an annual checkup for my dog, Keri, the vet informed me that my puppy, now 7 years of age, is considered a senior dog. Now that would mean, if you translate that into human years, 7 times 7, that at 49, I'm 50, that would be a senior human. And neither Bailey nor I were very happy about that label. So I have been referring to her as Puppy ever since, to help her get over the emotional trauma. So 6 weeks or so after our checkup, my puppy got really sick. It started the night she didn't jump up into my bed like she always does. Yes, I know I coddled her by letting her sleep in my bed, but I'm okay with it, so just get over it. She helped me through some of the worst days of my life when I was going through my divorce. She is actually happy when I arrive home from work or spend time with her, something that cannot be said for my teenage children. Seriously, if I had a fire in my house and had to choose between saving my children or saving my dog, I'm pretty sure I would pick my kids. But don't test me. I'm not entirely positive about that right now. Having the unconditional love of another being, even when she isn't human, goes a long way to preserving your sanity when the rest of your family thinks you are the stupidest person on the planet. Maybe you can relate. And if you parented teens who were easy, wonderful kids who never got into trouble, actually ate their vegetables, and wanted their friends to meet you, well, I regret to inform you that someone substituted well-behaved humanoid robots where your kids were actually out partying. Well, that's not true. But I'm sorry you didn't get to have the authentic parenting experience. Well, that's not true either. But I'm just jealous. I'm such a great parent before I had kids. Anyway, back to Bailey. When I lay down for the night, instead of jumping up on the bed like she always does, she sat on the floor making these funny, whiny sounds. Now, she has a funky kneecap that dislocates at times. Do you know dogs have kneecaps? Just on the back 2 legs. But she let me touch her legs without flinching, so it wasn't that. Maybe she heard a paw on our walk earlier that night. Maybe step on the floor. But I checked her paws and they were fine. But when I put my arms around her to lift her up onto the bed, yep, I'm that dog mom. She let out a sharp yip that sent shivers down my spine and stabbed me through the heart. Something must be very wrong. She spent the rest of the night panting and shaking all over, crouched behind the toilet, not letting me touch her. I laid on the bathroom floor near her for a few hours. I told you I was that dog-mom. But eventually I crawled into my bed, praying that she would be okay in the morning, and I might just have to clean up some vomit or diarrhea, or both. When I woke up, she wasn't in the bathroom anymore. I called for her. No running paws, no bark. Panic set in. This was incredibly unusual. Normally, she greets me instantly upon my arrival home and then is at my side until I leave again, like a furry appendage. And like a 2-year-old demanding constant attention, Bailey not only insists on following me into the bathroom, but actually gets into the shower with me at times. I suppose I should have listened to that bathroom contractor who tried to convince me to put in 2 shower heads in the shower. But that morning, I called and called for her without response. I searched my little 1,200 square foot house for 15 minutes, and trust me, it doesn't take 15 minutes to get around a 1,200 square foot house. Sure, I would find her lifeless body somewhere. Finally, I found her hidden behind a chair in my living room, panting and shaking, but still alive. She still wouldn't let me touch her belly without making that horrible noise. I was sure she had a bowel obstruction or worse. But when I called the vet, he couldn't see her until later that day at 4:40 p.m. Didn't he understand this was an emergency? But as it was, the vet already had a full schedule and he was doing me a favor getting her in at all that day. I was sorely tempted to just show up anyway, but I am a rule-abiding person who did not torture her parents as a teenager, although I wasn't as perfect as they thought I was, and waited for the appointment. I did take her to the office with me, however, so I could keep tabs on her between patients, ready to take her to the vet without an appointment if she got any worse at all. She refused to eat, or drink, or go for a walk. She didn't pee or poop or vomit. She just shook and whined and looked up at me with these big brown eyes that told me she was terrified and miserable. But she didn't get any worse, so I waited. Finally, it was 4:40 and time for the vet. I was prepared for the thousands of dollars in fees for the surgery I was sure she was going to need to fix her bowel obstruction. She was not. But I was worried that maybe her obstruction was from cancer, and there might not be anything I could do for her but to put her out of her misery. But then voila. The vet said her belly is fine. It was her back that was causing the problem. And whatever she did to her back wasn't causing any neurological issues, so although she had pain, he said she was going to be just fine. He gave her a shot of narcotics and some muscle relaxants and some anti-inflammatories, and I was to keep her sedated and not jumping onto anything for a week. The appointment and the meds came to a grand total of $147. And now, as I write this, she's the same old furry appendage she has always been, following me everywhere, even into the bathroom when I really wish she would. How is it possible to love an animal like this? Not just with my heart, but with every part of my being. I understand why humans love their children like this. We are biologically driven to do so by neurotransmitters like dopamine and oxytocin, but without that deep love and bond, our children would soon die from neglect. As the sleepless nights endured by parents with infants and toddlers become the sleepless nights endured by parents with teenagers, it is love again to the rescue of our species, this time preventing us from killing our children when they don't come home by curfew. But I am not at all sure what the biological reason might be for us to love our animal companions so fiercely. And this bugs me. I am a scientist at my core, and figuring out stuff is just how I'm wired. But then again, maybe I don't need to figure out the biological purpose of everything. Maybe, just by looking into my puppy's big brown eyes, I learned something much more important. We are now entering the time time of spiritual centering. I invite you to find a comfortable position where you feel rooted to the earth as much as you can without orbiting. Take a moment to pay attention to your breath. See if that breath is in your chest, and if you can, bring it down into your belly. See if you can slow down that breath a little bit. A nice deep breath in. Holding it for just a moment at the top of the in-breath. Letting it out gently. Perhaps pausing at the end of the in-breath. Breathe in. Pause. Breathe out. Pause. I invite you to find an easy rhythm and rate for your breathing that is comfortable for you and not forced in any way. As I offer John O'Donohue's To Learn from Animal Being. Nearer to the earth's heart, deeper within its silence, animals know this world in a way we never will. We, who are ever distanced and distracted by the parade of bright windows thought opens, their seamless presence is not fractured us. Stranded between time gone and time emerging, we manage seldom to be where we are, whereas they are always looking out from the here and now. May we learn to return and rest in the beauty of animal being. Learn to lean low, leave our locked minds, and with freed senses, feel the earth breathing with us. May we enter into lightness of spirit and slip frequently into the feel of the light. Let the clear silence of our animal being cleanse our hearts of corrosive waves. May we learn to walk upon the earth with all their confidence and clear-eyed stillness, so that our minds might be baptized in the name of the wind and the light and the rain. A long-standing Unitarian Universalist tradition is the blessing of the animal's service, where congregants bring their beloved animal companions to receive a blessing for the coming year. For those of you who have attended UUCC for several years, you may remember a few of those bring your pet to church days here at UUCC. I'm not sure exactly when or why we stopped doing them. I don't remember any major fiascos that halted the tradition here. And as I contemplated what I wanted to do for the service today on blessing, I seriously considered resurrecting that tradition. But as I thought more about it, I realized that our beloved animal companions don't need our blessing. They are our blessing. Humans like to think of ourselves as so much more evolved than other species. It is true that we are able to do incredible things with this big old cerebral cortex of ours. It allows us to think and create in ways that no other animal can. Heck, we figured out how to blast humans in a rocket to the moon and back in one piece. Okay, it was after a few spectacularly failed attempts, but still, it is equally true that the human race is completely idiotic, having created the ability to destroy the entire planet, making it unlivable for humans and most other life forms in a matter of minutes. Even more idiotic is that we threaten to do so on a regular basis, over imaginary lines we have drawn, or even over a perceived slight. We may say that we, personally, are smarter than those humans directly involved with threatening the destruction of our planet. We would not have created those weapons, would not threaten to use them, would not actually use them. Lordy, I hope that is true. I don't know about you, but I've gotten to using the word lordy a lot lately, and I really like it. But on a more individual basis, we humans are idiotic in other ways, spending our time and effort accumulating things that don't actually make us happy, like money and status, while neglecting what truly does bring us joy and happiness, like connection to others and nature. In addition, humans spend the vast majority of our time depressed about a past that didn't go as we had hoped, or worried about the threats the future might hold, rather than being right here, right now. Americans, in particular, might say that mindfulness, being right here, right now, is just a new age concept that gets in the way of what really matters: achievement, advancement, accumulation, rather than being the fundamental state our minds are meant to inhabit. We have forgotten that being fully present in this moment is what it actually means to be alive. We think of ourselves as the most superior species, fully entitled to our spot at the top of the food chain, but the truth is that no other animal has made the fundamental mistake of inhabiting a world of thought while vacating their actual lives. No other animal purposely creates, even once aware of the danger it poses, what threatens its own survival. How on earth does that entitle human beings to top dog status? Top dog. Wonder how that phrase came about. Humans are biologically wired to be tribal, to trust those who look like us, act like us, and live near us, and to distrust others who don't. It helped our ancestors survive, and it is part of the human legacy. But we now live in a global society and no longer have the luxury of giving in to our DNA-driven tendency to wage war on everyone who isn't just like us. The stakes are just too gosh high. As UUs, we reject racism and sexism, and at least try our darndest to see beyond race and gender and color, beyond religion, beyond borders. We see the worth and dignity inherent in every human being, no matter where they live, what they look like, or what they believe. We see the life, some of us, like me, might say we see the soul, in every human being. And we recognize that what some might call enemies or illegals are human beings with feelings and families. They may be angry, but they also love and they grieve. And all human beings, although they are often misguided on how to get there, at their core just want to be safe and happy. Sentience is the capacity to feel, perceive, or experience subjectively. And a sentient being is one that has that capacity. We recognize that in other humans, whether they look like us or not. But non-human animals are sentient as well, even fish. If you doubt this, check out Jonathan Balcom's book, What a Fish Knows. You may be surprised to learn just how aware fish actually are. I was pretty shocked. We also recognize the sentience as we watch in horror the news-clipped videos of those frantic, terrified animals fleeing the fires out west. And we see it when we bring ourselves to look in the animals in factory farms, stockyards, and slaughterhouses. All sentient beings, human and otherwise, at their core, just want to be safe and happy. This sentience is what I recognized when I looked into Bailey's eyes when she was a puppy. This little fluffy being had feelings. She experienced joy and pain. She was so happy when I came home, and she hoped I would play. She loved me. And that recognition changed the trajectory of my life. A month or so after I adopted Bailey, I saw pictures of dogs being caught in nets in China to be taken to the butcher and eaten. I recognized their terror, and I was horrified that anyone could be so cruel to a sentient being. But eating dogs is normal there, just like eating cow meat or pig meat or chicken meat is normal here. Carnism is the term Dr. Melanie Joy coined to describe the cultural systems that make certain animals our beloved companions and others our dinner. Carnism is so ingrained in society that we don't even recognize it. It's just the way things are. We don't even think to challenge our basic beliefs about which animals are to be left alone in the forest, which are companion animals and which are to be dinner. But seeing those dogs in nets and roasting on sticks, after looking into Bailey's eyes, challenged mine. And I was just no longer willing to cause pain to other sentient beings when I had other options to sustain my life. Now, if I didn't have any other choice but to eat animals in order to survive, I'm not sure I would have made the same decision. I don't think I'm a total martyr, but it turns out that I do have other choices, and those choices also happen to be better for my health and for the health of the planet, using only 1/10 of the resources required to eat an animal-based diet. When I spare an animal's life, I'm also sparing my own life and the life of the planet on which all of life depends. It is my way of showing respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which I am a part. Bailey helped me see that without saying a word. And while her cerebral cortex might not be as big as mine, she taught me a whole lot more about what is important than what I learned at Cornell or in medical school. She reminds me daily that the past is gone, that the future is just a guess, and that all we really know and can experience is what is right in this moment. She reminds me that walking regularly is important to prevent nasty consequences, both for my health and for my floors at home. She reminds me to play, at least a little, every day. To greet those whom I love at the door when they arrive home, and to let them know how happy I am to see them again, even if they've only been gone 10 minutes. To snuggle up nearby whenever possible, but maybe not when we're napping. To love deeply, to forgive easily, and to live joyously in this moment, and in this one, and in this one. If you have, or have had an animal in your life who has blessed you, perhaps by providing you unconditional love, or by teaching you something profound about what it means to truly live, I invite you to come forward, say just the name of your beloved animal, or we will be here all day. Drop a stone into the water in gratitude for the blessings they have brought you. Now let's start. Bailey.
Buddy, Dingo, Tess, CJ, Big Al, Miss Gray, Miss Summer, Danny, Andy, and Starkey. There are others.
Of course, there are others.
Sparky and Ziva. Tara, Tony, White Toes, Girl Kitty, lots more.
My best friend in the whole world.
Nestle, Jackson, and Camino.
Dodgy, Panther, and Soda. Rixie, Bruce, Mooka, Chauncey, Kitty, Willow, and Smokey.
Earl, Maggie, and Mia. Huggins and Matilda.
Reggie.
Duchess, Ozzy, Doxy, German Shepherds, and Coco, the clipped winged parrot.
Bella, Tasha, and Peaches.
And don't you dare forget Snoop.
Mr. Ed, an extraordinary mama.
I'll drop one final pebble in for any animal who remains in our hearts who has been unspoken today. And I'd actually like to drop one last one for any animal who's not in our consciousness and in our hearts, who's not spoken about today. Well, that was fun. I would like to end the service today by inviting Lynn Westmoreland up. She's going to lead us in a meta prayer. This is one that I know from Dharma Refuge, and she's going to sing. She's going to sing this for us. In your order of service, there should be an extra handout. It's going to be mailed in to people. So Lynn is going to sing it the first time, and then we're going to sing it together 3 times. The first time when we sing it, when you sing it, I want you to think about a beloved animal. The second time that you sing it, I want you to think about, the first time when you sing it, I want you to think about yourself. Okay? So blessing yourself first. And then the second time is a beloved animal. And the third time I want you to sing it with all sentient beings, human and otherwise, in your consciousness. And I'm so glad you're singing it.
I'm one of those in the song we sang earlier who sings low. So I have about a 6-note range, I think. If you have to hop up an octave, that'll be okay, because I always have to hop down an octave. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. May all beings be free. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. May all beings be free. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. May all beings be free. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. May all beings be free.
Join us for worship every Sunday at 10 a.m. at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Canandaigua, a welcoming congregation. We are located at 3024 Cooley Road, 4 miles west of South Main Street, Canandaigua, just north of the intersection with Routes 5 and 20. Look for the blue signs just before the turn. Your comments about this program or questions about the church are welcome at 585-396-1370 or at our website, www.canandaiguauu.org. Producer and editor, Daniel Brigham.